going live. Hello, and welcome to FPL Have a Beer, where I invite you to have a beer with me while I talk FPL. Please like the video to help get it out there. Please subscribe to help me on my ultimate venture of bringing the channel to 1,000 subscribers. And please check out memberships if you'd like to support the channel further. So for this week's very special and exciting live stream, game week preview chat, I am delighted to be joined by two of my regular co-hosts. I think I can call you guys that now. Steve-O and Nick, TriggerLips, who have been on a few times with me now, and a very special guest, one of my best friends in FPL. We've only ever actually appeared in 2 videos together, though, Andrew. Your interview and once before. Andrew, FPL Nightmare. Lads, the dream lineup, I do believe. How are you doing? Andrew?
Good.
Yeah, I'm all right. I've had a long day and I'm highly caffeinated. I've just been to my mate Jeeves' house and he's got some extremely strong coffee. And I thought I'll have a cup of that and I hope that'll get me through. And that is not a euphemism for anyone suggesting, when he says coffee, he means something other from Colombia. It's not that. I'm just trying to get a bit of energy about myself because I'm a bit tired. So we'll see how it goes. I'm already coming out in cold sweats.
That comes out in an interview, recent interview, a discussion of that particular powder. But we won't say any more about that here. Steve, how you doing, mate?
I think you know the answer to that. Let's move on to Nick.
Nick, how are you, mate? Have you got your coughing done?
Yeah,
Nick has
good.
He's just woken up and he's been coughing and
I could do with some Colombian marching powder myself, I think, this morning. And just got out of bed.
Nice one.
At 5 a.m.
So, what we're going to do in this one, we're going to do the usual FPL stuff, have a look at our teams, have a look at the fact there's no double game weeks, and have a quick chat about that. I believe FPL Nightmare, Andrew, still has a chip left, a free hit trip. So we're going to look, as we go through our teams for next week, a free hit draft that Andrew has done. Then we're going to use this tool I found, which gives you a rating of your overall FPL career. So it basically rates you as a player for however long you've been playing. So we're going to have a look at that and have a bit of a chat towards the end. Andrew's got something he wants to talk about, but I don't know what it is exactly yet.
Oh, good.
Have I?
Yeah, the Ask Salah about...
Oh, yes.
Something about Salah. I didn't actually know what you'd done.
Oh, bugger, I was meant to research for that and I've completely forgotten to do any research for that, so I'll have to see what's in the old noggin when it comes up.
You can't buy it. You can't get the stuff anymore nowadays, can you?
Oh, that reminds me, before we get started, I've got a bone to pick with you, Gary, because at the end of your stream with Trigger and Steve-O last week, you implied I needed to get permission off my wife to come on stream, and that is not the case. I was merely negotiating what time she was at work so I could stream in peace.
Negotiations,
well,
that implies to me permission. Does it not to you two, lads?
No, it's like if she's at work today till 4 o'clock, I'm in my living room here. Like, I can't exactly kick her upstairs so I can talk to you three reprobates. I mean, I could, she probably would like, but what she'd more likely do is go down the pub and I wouldn't see her till tomorrow morning.
Mrs. FPL Nightmare, if you ever listen to this, I do sincerely apologise on behalf of FPL Let's Have a Beer, as Nick likes to call me, networks.
Don't apologise to her. It's me you emasculated.
I know who's in charge, mate, so I know I've got to apologise to.
I am very much under the thumb.
So, we'll start by looking at our guest team. Andrew, this is your team. Do you want to read it out? Can you see, or do you want me to read it out?
No, I can see it just fine. I've got Raya in goal with 1 point, Milenkovic with 2 points, Munoz with 1 point, Gvardiol with 8 points, Jacob Murphy 1, Salah 2, Mbumo 5, Bowen 9, Cunha 2, Wissa 7, and the greatest striker in all of world football as my captain for 18 points.
Awesome. And what was your overall... Because we haven't got it on here, I don't think. Your overall score, green arrow, red arrow, we are happy?
Now you want maths. I think it was 56 points off the top of my head.
56.
But I could just count the numbers, I suppose, but I'll quickly bring it up, and it was 56 points. That's how quickly my computer works. 56
it's like 60.
points, yeah. And it wasn't a great score, but in the context of my mini league, the most important thing to me, it was 15 points more than my closest rival. So it brings me one step closer to that trophy.
So are you back on top now then?
I was always on top.
You just
I'm just a bit further on top now.
You just cut the gap a bit.
Well, I was 93 clear, and then in like a game week and a half, he knocked 63 points off it, and I'm sat there, and you saw my video last week, you talked about it. I had some sort of like FPL breakdown. That's what they should have called me last week, but I'm back on form now. I've got that extra 15 points. We're a game week closer to the end, and I'm ready for the run-in. Free hit to attack, but we'll get into that a little bit later.
Nice one. Just say hello to a few people in the chat. Roberto has graced us. He wasn't here last week. Thank you for gracing us with your presence, Roberto. PK7, Sparta, who's recently become a channel member. Hi, Sparta. Michael, Colm, John. Hi, everyone. Okay. Let's move on to Nick's team. See, this is what you got to do. This is the professionalism, Andrew.
Well, you never asked me.
Nick doesn't. I didn't ask Nick. He knows. He's a seasoned pro.
You got my team ID before. Why couldn't you just bring it up?
Don't involve work.
I wouldn't have done that if I'd had a bad score.
So, Nick, do you want me to read it out, mate, or do you want to read it out?
Martinez, Kyrgios, Saliba, Guardiola, Bowen, Mbuemo, Rogers, and Salah. Isaac, Mateta, and Marmouche.
65 points.
So 65, but I took a hit. I took a hit for Bowen.
You forgot your assistant. You forgot your assistant manager.
And yeah, I'm getting to that.
Right.
And I used my assistant manager as well. So if you take all those out, my real score was only really 52. So, but I'm happy with that. So 65, 61 in reality, with the help of the assistant manager, Chet. So, good green arrow this week.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. And you're happy with because you were umming and ahhing last week about your assistant manager, feeling you had wasted it. Do you think 9 points isn't bad, is it?
No, I mean, it's nothing compared with earlier in the season, is it? That people had like 5 games from their assistant manager.
Yeah.
But the fact we haven't got a double game week, as it is what it is, isn't it? At least he won. And I'd expect a few more points away at Southampton this week. But the problem is I've only got 2 Man City players because of it. And I'm very worried about the likes of De Bruyne.
I just noticed that I think all of us were in Burmo captainers apart from Andrew. So you must have been happy with that, Andrew. Sorry, mate. It passed me by.
I was, especially because I made such a big thing in the comments of Steve's video about it last week. Oh, get Isaac. Yeah. And it just paid off. But I can understand why people wouldn't. It was just a penalty at the end of the day. But, what my rule is, if I'm in doubt, I just back Isaac because he's Newcastle's number 9. And, it's more hope than anything. But I did think it was a good fixture for Newcastle, and it didn't turn out to be the best fixture, but he nearly had 3 penalties. Could you imagine?
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people saying he's off form. Do you reckon he is? I mean, you watching more Newcastle than us.
He's had 3 goals and 1 assist in the last 5 games. So if that's him off form, then I'll roll on the next time he's back on form. But I don't know. I think he's nursing a bit of a groin injury, and I think that's partly it. But I actually think Harvey Barnes is part of the problem, because I just don't think Barnes and Isak have the same chemistry that Gordon and Isak do. Like, Barnes is a slower attacker. Like, Gordon gets it and he's bang, 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 pace, and they've got that synergy. And I just don't think, like, Barnes is like run, but then cut inside. And I know Gordon cuts inside a bit as well, but it's the timing of Isak dropping off form while Barnes has come into the team correlates almost exactly, apart from like that 1 goal in the cup final. So, but yeah, I mean, they do say he's been carrying an injury, so I wonder if that's part of it as well.
Yeah, maybe. I think it was just maybe the penalties, but I mean, if he's getting points, he's getting points, isn't he? It doesn't matter how you get them in FPL, does it?
Where's Trigger keep going?
I don't know. You get used to it, Andy. You get used to it. All right, let's move on to Steve-O's team. And I know very well how Steve-O's team got on, having spent Sunday with him. We had a lovely day out, didn't we, Steve-O? Well, up until we completed the match of the day challenge and looked at the results.
With that incredible reaction of the whole, oh, for fuck's sake, and then quick instance, please don't tell me he's blanked. Like, that was possibly my favourite ever moment I've recorded throughout the 6 years of doing Elite FPL. That was by far my favourite at the moment, because the comedy timing of that was just absolute perfection. And then to find out that Mbermo gets a proxy assist in 4 goals, that's hard to take. That is genuinely hard to take. And I was going into this particular game week thinking that Mbermo was going to be a really nice differential. And then it turns out that quite a lot of people, including yourself and Nick, went down the Mbermo route as well. And for whatever reason, the captaincy changed on the popular sites as well to Mbermo captaincy. I know TriggerLips likes to captain whoever's top of the polls, which is fair enough.
I said to you, Steve-O, you say something and it moves the world of FPL. Steve-O has said Mbermo is the one to captain. And
I made the point that
everything changes.
I made the point that Isaac was always the best. Of the 3 differential captains in Isaac, Bowen and Mbermo, Isaac was the best safety option of the 3. Then it was Mbermo, then it was Bowen. And of course, we all know how that went. And certainly, like I stated, what do they always say? If you could turn back time and you could see that Newcastle has scored 1 goal, West Ham has scored 1 goal, and Mbermo has scored 4... Brentford has scored 4 goals, who are you going to put a captaincy on? You're going to go, well, Mbermo. And for the same outcome, it's just... it's a bit dejecting, but...
At least he did get a return. I mean, it didn't show up because it was an FPL return, so at least he got us something. I mean, if he'd got us nothing, that would have been... horrible. Do you want to read?
Of course,
Do you want to read your team out, Steve, or do you want me to read it out?
Yeah, it's Henderson a goal with 3 points, Milenkovic, Trippier with 2 each, Vardiol with 8, Eze, who was kind of my saviour, to be honest with you, this particular game week, and Burnt with 10, and Burma with 10 as captaincy, Jacob Murphy, who I only just found out the day after me and you did our video, only played 57 minutes, so that's a bit concerning.
Really?
Salah with...
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Salah with 2, Marmoush with 2, Cunha with 2, and then, of course, Isaac with 9. But if you look at my bench, because I'm playing bench boost this week, I just know for fact now that bench has done so well, I'm not going to get anywhere near that. With Murillo, 8 Nuri, Semenyo, and Areola, I'll take that bench points now for my upcoming bench boost, but you just know it ain't going to happen.
What are you going to do about Murillo?
Me and Ray, we're going to be doing... We've got 2 options, but we've kind of decided on this one, which is Nico Williams. I want Nico Williams in for Murillo, and then Kevin De Bruyne in for Jacob Murphy. But this is the point, TriggerLips. It just fucking annoys me that me and Ray have had these like really good plans going into game weeks, and all of a sudden, a player's gone injured, or a player's got sent off, or whatever the circumstances are for them not playing. And that Murillo injury has really scuppered our plans, because it was a really nice differential having double defence with Nottingham Forest up against Leicester. Then we thought, right, well, we've got 2 free transfers. We can just do Kevin De Bruyne or Alanga in for Jacob Murphy. And then we just move into game week 37 with 2 free transfers, probably leave it, and then go into game week 38 with 3 free transfers. But now we've got a wasted transfer on a Nottingham Forest defender, because the other option was Diaz in for Murillo and Alanga in for Jacob Murphy. But I think we both kind of agreed that Kevin De Bruyne is kind of the better option, because you can't really see with Alanga the consistency. Even though I know on your video you said that you're really keen on Alanga, and there's been a lot of times this season he's come through with double-digit hauls, and it's a real hard toss-up between those 2 options, if I'm honest with you. But Ray's adamant on the Kevin De Bruyne, and Williams.
I think it's easy for you. If you've got the money for De Bruyne, you definitely get De Bruyne. I mean, Elanga's okay, but he's no De Bruyne, is he? I'm going off Elanga myself because of his inconsistency. I know last time I had him, he got me a big haul last time.
What about Gibbs White, lad? Someone was pushing him in my stream on Saturday a lot.
He's off form at the moment, and even Ray in Telegraph is going off him because of the form. It's just completely fallen off a cliff, unfortunately.
Is it the form, or is it the fact they've had tough fixtures and had the FA Cup as well, didn't they?
Yeah, and it's a tough one because you've got Nottingham Forest, who all season have been in the top 4. In fact, they've basically been third all season. And then all of a sudden, when it actually counts, they've dropped off a cliff. And it annoys me that the same old fucking teams getting into the Champions League. Man City potentially could overtake Arsenal to get second. It's just the one season where you think, because I can't stand Man City. I can't stand what they, what they stand for. They've got to where they are. I can't think of any other bloody terminology. But they haven't got there with merit. It's like literally the last 5 or 6 games, because of the inconsistency of the likes of Aston Villa, Chelsea and Nottingham Forest, because they've been consistently winning, that they've got there, whereas the other frigging 3 teams have just been dropping off.
How's that not on merit? They've been winning every game. That's why
because you are right, it is on merit, but because the other 3 teams have dropped off for whatever reason, they haven't kept up with the consistency. But it's almost like Man City are being, I can't explain it. It's almost like they're being rewarded for the fact that these other teams have just been so poor over the last few game weeks, when in reality they've been so good for the whole season.
Yeah, but Steve, that's part of being. You've got to be consistent across the whole season. That's
I mean, City.
Well, no, that's the point. That's exactly the point. A team like Man City, the team like Man City should be up there every single season fighting for the title. And this is the first season in a very, very long time where they fucked it. And then because of the likes of Aston Villa, Chelsea and Nottingham Forest blowing it over the last few game weeks, it's just, surprise, surprise. Here comes the juggernaut. Here comes the powerhouse to just get the same old position. It's just boring, basically. Wouldn't it be amazing if Nottingham Forest end up third, Arsenal second, Chelsea, Newcastle fourth, Chelsea fifth, and Man City in the Europa League? That would be fantastic.
But I think it would be fantastic if they were relegated 4 divisions for financial fraud.
Yeah.
Wasn't that supposed to come out in April? I'm sure it was last month it was supposed to come out, the initial investigation.
It's all a joke, mate.
Nothing will happen. Like Chelsea can sell hotels and the women's team to themselves and avoid financial fair play, so nothing's going to happen to Man City.
Yeah.
They'll just sell the grass on the pitch to themselves for like $500 million or something dafter.
Well, just say hello to Carl and also FPL Hippie. I don't know if any of you guys follow him on Blue Sky. Posts some.
He's funny stuff, old hippie.
Yeah. Hello, mate.
Yeah.
So what was were you on a green arrow, Steve-O, in the end? Because the Eze.
When you're a millionaire in the world, you can get a green arrow every single week. So the simple answer is yeah. But like Andrew said, I don't care about overall rank. I care about mini league.
And how are you doing in that?
It was just unfortunately, it was a red. It was officially a red, but I kind of felt it was almost like a grey because the mini league positions are so tight at the moment between, specifically in the Torbay Elite. But yeah, officially it was a red, annoyingly.
Okay. We'll move on to have a look at my team. I can find the tab. So I'm on 58 points. I had Martinez. Look at that. I was so close to playing Raya instead. Raya on 1 and Martinez on 9. So absolutely loved that.
Hey? You're looking at your team? Sorry, I'm looking on the YouTube.
Yeah, no, it's
about 5 minutes behind.
I'll update in a minute. Martinez on 9, Kivia on 1, Kilman on 2, Gavardio on 8. But I mean, pretty much everyone had that. Saar with 2, Eze with 10, which was nice. Same as Steve-O. Was he 25% owned, I think? It's quite not a differential, but, certainly helped. Rodgers with 3, Salah with 2, and Burmo captain with 10, Isaac with 9, and Marmouche with 2, and a load of rubbish on the bench. So, I mean, as I've said for anyone who watches my streams regularly, my goal is always to finish in the top 100k. I took a very small step up from I think I was about 190k to 160. I've gone from 35 points off the top 100k to 21, something like that. So it's possible. The dream is on. The dream is on. So I was quite happy. I mean, 21 points, that's achievable, isn't it, lads, in the last 3 game weeks?
But it's down to your differentials, isn't it? That's what it's down to.
You can
There's
do that
still
with
quite
one
a few
captain.
people with chips. There's a lot of chips in play still, isn't there?
Yeah,
So
I
it
haven't
makes it
got
a bit
it.
harder.
Yeah, I haven't got any Trig. That's what I'm worried about. But
There's a few triple captains. I'm worried about De Bruyne this week.
how have people still got their triple captain? Let's talk FPL.
If you had yours left, would you use it on De Bruyne, do you think? Well, you haven't got De Bruyne, but
Well, it's the classic thing of if Haaland was fit, Haaland would be the popular captaincy this pick. So the answer would be you'd put the triple captaincy on him. But because he's not fit, it's like you keep stating who we're going to be captaining in the next few game weeks and who, if anybody has got a triple captaincy, who they're going to put it on. And yeah, Kevin De Bruyne is a very good shout.
Yeah, I would say De Bruyne is probably the best. Maybe Saka against Southampton on the last day.
Yeah,
maybe the end.
That's what I'd be tempted with. Particularly if they go out tonight. I mean, he's definitely going to start then. I mean, I reckon he'll start even if they go through tonight, because it's like a week between the final game of the season and the Champions League final. Slight tangent. Did you guys see the match last night? It's bloody awesome.
I was at work, but I saw the highlights.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I didn't watch it live. Barcelona
It was a bit...
in the European Cup semi-final turnarounds are incredible. Remember PSG, Liverpool, you know what I mean? Sorry, Andrew.
I was just going to say it was a bit different to last time. It was a Barcelona-Inter Milan semi-final, wasn't it? When Mourinho just put 11 men behind the ball for the entire match.
Yeah. That was
I loved that game. That was such a masterclass of football.
That was the original part of the bus.
When
he sort of earned it, weren't it?
I've never seen a defensive performance like it.
Yeah. Anyone not old enough to remember was about 2010 when
I think it was 2010.
Basically put the whole an incredible marking performance against Messi and Ronaldo.
The entire match was in the Inter Milan penalty box. It was incredible.
Yeah.
But last night's was a bit more aggressive in the attack. But I'm glad Inter Milan won. Somebody put a random poll up on Twitter, and I clicked Inter Milan would win, and I wasn't really thinking. I just thought I'll click Inter Milan because everyone's going to click Barcelona. But then they went and won, and I feel I've played just a small role in that. Maybe one of their players saw that, and it gave them that belief. 34% of people think we can do this. Let's do it for them. If it was 33%, it wouldn't be enough. But that extra percent, who knows? Well, probably not.
Well, particularly this FPL Nightmare, he probably brought up, how he knows when you'd have pressed the button, I have no idea. All right, lads, so I'm going to bring up Ben Krellin's table, even though Ben Krellin's table shows us absolutely nothing. Well, it shows us the fixtures, but it gives us no double game week information because there is no double game week. So I was going to ask you guys how you felt about that. I mean, I'll say as someone who has no chips left, I'm not going to say over the moon, but I was happy. Andrew?
I mean, it was a bit of a blow, and I'd been saving my free hit just for this, wouldn't it? It could have been such a big advantage. If Aston bloody Villa had won, you would have had, 6 teams playing in double game week 36, and then them teams blanking in 37. And what an advantage that free hit would have been. And now it's gone from being a massive advantage to, a small advantage. It's still handy to have, but it's just not the same. But it's a valuable lesson. You can't plan perfection into the future. Sometimes you just got to play. It's like Happy Gilmore. You've got to play the ball as it lies.
Yeah, play what's in front of you. That's what they say, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't, and I've shot myself in the foot a little bit, but I'm still glad to have the free hit. It's better to have it than not have it, but I mean,
It's a good week to play it this week, wouldn't it?
maybe it's on the short list. I'm down to a short list of 3 game weeks to use it in, and this is definitely one of them.
Yeah.
I reckon this is the best one.
We've got a draft. We've got his draft, Andrew. We've got his Nick. We've got his draft.
Yeah.
I thought it looked pretty good, but we'll get on to that. What about you, Nick? Did you? I mean, you got your assistant manager, so I guess you weren't.
Yeah,
happy.
it was a bit annoying. Game week 30, I made my wild card. I put Henderson and Martinez in specifically because I thought one might have a blank in game week 37, and I'd guarantee myself a double goalkeeper and all this sort of thing. And the planning this season, it's just been a complete waste of time. You know, like the Haaland injury. You know, I was planning for weeks around Haaland, gets injured, and then this double game week, but it hasn't affected me too much. I mean, I've lost one fixture out of my assistant manager chip, but it does mean that, you know, it's assistant manager chip's not great anyway. So I'd be more worried probably if it was a double game week, because everyone would be captaining De Bruyne for 2 games, wouldn't they? So
yeah,
it is what it is, and at least there's no blank in 37. I mean, most of us would have been stuffed, wouldn't we? To be honest.
That's why I'm happy. Steve-O, I mean, you've got your bench boost left, haven't you? So I'm guessing you're unhappy. Would it make much difference? You wouldn't have had doublers on your bench, would you?
It's not made much of a difference, to be honest with you. It's the fact that I don't get Brennan Johnson, and that's all the plan was, to be relying on Brennan Johnson and potentially a real cheeky punt on Richarlison, and then play the bench boost in game week 36. But it hasn't worked out that way, and kind of, I don't know, as you two, as Andrew and Nick were talking just then, it kind of feels nice to have actual real information given to us rather than speculation from what these guys do when predicting. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not taking away anything from what these guys do. They're absolutely exceptional. The work that they put into doing all these predictions, and normally they come through. But unfortunately, as Andrew just said, because Aston Villa were knocked out of the FA Cup, it's meant diddly squat. And obviously the fact that Aston Villa have decided to not, agree to having Tottenham not play the game later or something.
Well,
so
they've moved it to next.
Yeah, they've brought it to Friday,
Friday,
haven't they? Yeah. So it's meant no difference basically.
Yeah.
So we've got. So that means the game week starting earlier than it was going to, is it?
I believe so. Yeah, because I think the Villa match kicks off at 7:30, and the other match was going to kick off at 8:15. So I guess 45 minutes earlier. I'm assuming.
Yeah, the deadline's 6:00 now, rather than 45 minutes later. I think it's the fair thing to do, really. I mean, like, if they'd have moved the Spurs match earlier into game week 36, and the Man United could be like, oh, well, why are you giving Spurs more time to rest? And if they hadn't moved it, and like, I mean, I know it's people say, oh, it's just a Europa League, but I mean, it's a Champions League qualification place, and these two teams have risked their entire seasons to win this one final. If they get there, I think Bodo Glimt are going to do Spurs. You know, I really do. I do, because it's the Arctic Circle. It's an artificial pitch, and Spurs are just. You can't just choose when to turn it on and when to turn it off. You need to have some sort of consistency. And although that being said, Crystal Palace obviously chose to turn it on in the semi-final.
When they went when their bloody goals didn't count in my FPL team.
Yeah, that late goal that the Norwegian team scored, it could come back to bite them, couldn't it?
Yeah, I've started playing that Elite Serien Fantasy, the Norwegian Fantasy League. So, the advice is, you've got to have Bodo Glimt in. So, I loaded my team up with Bodo Glimt, and now they've got 2 blank game weeks because of this Spurs match. So, they better bloody well beat them. No, I just... Sorry.
So, they've all been given time off, have they?
Yeah, they've given 2 weeks off.
What game? Was that a joke, Andrew? Or are you actually playing Norwegian?
No, I'm playing the Elite Serien. It's my first time, so I don't really know what I'm doing. I've already taken like 3 hits or something.
It's quite popular, isn't it?
Yeah, well, Andy Martin
play
plays it, and Heskebo, he used to be on Twitter. He's on Blue Sky now. So I thought I'd just have a go and see what it's like. See if because I don't like FPL. It's like I know what the strategies are, but this game I don't. So it's a bit freer, a bit more like old school FPL because you don't really know what's going on. Like, who are these players?
You like a learned experience, don't you, Andrew?
Well, I'll probably get bored in a few weeks once I've used all my chips. But yeah, they have all their double game weeks right at the start because obviously their season's just started. So it's like the first 6 or 7 or 8 game weeks, it's like, oh, let's get all these chips loaded. It's going to be ace. And then it's like, right, well, now we've got 30 game weeks with no chips. What are we going to do? But I doubt I'll stick with it long term. But in the meantime, I'm going to back Bodo Glimt to beat Spurs just because I think it would be funny.
Bodo Glimt. I've never even. What a name! What a name for a team! What a name for a team!
I think they're one of the only teams in the world with a slash in the name.
Okay, so sticking with having our guests first, here is Andrew's current team without a free hit. So, Andrew, do you want to read it out to us, and then maybe we could have a debate before we look at your free hit team, whether you need to? I mean, looking at your team, it's all right, but it's not amazing, is it? Do you want to read it out for us?
Yeah, I mean, well, the important thing is it's not about whether it's the right week because my team's fine for all of the remaining game weeks. It's about which is the best opportunity to take the risk.
Yeah,
that's gonna. So at the minute, I've got Raya in goal over Bruggen, who like D-Unit said, can get in the bin. He's not gracing my team again.
Bart Simpson, not Bart for Bruggen. He said.
No, I can't stand him. You bring him in for 2 game weeks and he ruins it in both. So I'll probably have Raya in goal against Liverpool. Then there's Milenkovic, Munoz and Gvardiol, Saka, Salah, Mbeumo, Bowen, Cunha, Isak and Wissa. And I've got Murphy, Kirkes and Byrne on the bench. That's my team at the minute. And my likely transfer would be Saka to De Bruyne.
If you keep this team.
Captain De Bruyne.
Yeah, I would. I probably would. I've got captain on Cunha at the minute. Just I just think that's
a very good team. Very good team we've got there. I don't think you do. Having said that, I don't think you do need to use your free hit this week.
No, well,
you've got more now.
This is the problem because like every week my team is it's good. It's just not great, and it's like when is the best time to use this chip? And it's like it is a decent team, but Chelsea could beat Newcastle, Liverpool and Arsenal could rotate their entire teams, and they're just hard games to call. And now Gary's moved my team off the screen, I can't talk.
I'm just looking.
Injuries.
So it's a 37 because I'm guessing on the free hit you want to target Leicester, Ipswich. They're playing themselves. This
is the best week to target what Praz called the golden 5 teams of the three relegated teams. Well, at the minute I've got 4 players playing the relegated teams, and I've got De Bruyne I'd bring in, so that would be 5. But like, I could have 9. Like, if you want to bring up the free hit team as a possible, like I've got Munoz in that team. Is he going to play? Like,
I do like
look at that team.
I do like this.
Look, that's one version. So the potential free hit team is
Haaland.
Well, you've got to gamble. Haaland could be Marmouche, but the team is basically you've got Sells, Milenkovic and Elanga against Leicester. You've got Gvardiol, De Bruyne and Haaland against Southampton. You've got Collins and Mbeumo and Wissa against Ipswich. And then I've got Bowen against Man United. And it would be either Cunha or Isak. I just can't make my mind up. Like, am I really going to drop Isak for a must-win match at St James's Park? I just don't think I will. But I think if I was being neutral, I'd probably prefer Cunha. He's an exciting player.
It could backfire this. Because Marmouche could get a big haul this week. Isaac could do as well.
This is it. This is the problem every week. Next week.
I think you wait till the last week because you never know with injuries. You might actually need a free hit. Whereas you don't this week. And last game week of the season, we're going to have players that are out and on the beach, and
Nick, we'll probably have all the team news we usually
I'd save it.
on the last week, don't we? There's usually some changes, and then you can manipulate your team based on that news.
Yeah, I'd wait because just to get a really good last game week.
I mean, it is a possibility, but at the same time, my team for game week 38 looks really good. Whereas this team, you know, I've got players I could. It's how I'm 38 points off the top 10K. How am I going to get a better opportunity to attack by taking a few chances? Like I could have Saka, Salah, but I could take him on with, you know, somebody else. Like Haaland, it might not be Haaland. Like obviously that would depend on if there was any news that would help. It could be Marmoush, but otherwise at the minute I've got no Man City attackers against the worst team in the league, and that feels like ridiculous. Obviously I'd bring in De Bruyne. I did actually have another version, which instead of Collins, I had Aina, so triple Forest defence. And instead of Alanga, I had Kevin Schade, so triple Brentford attack against Ipswich. And I quite like that. It's a high-risk move, that, because you've got, I mean, Forest defensive numbers aren't great, but they're playing Leicester. If they keep that clean sheet, that's 18 points minimum. And then if Brentford, like I think Brentford are going to have goal fests for the rest of the season. They're that sort of team. And like Schade, Damsgaard maybe, I don't know. It's just, where do you get your edge? Everyone's got Mbumo. A lot of people are going to bring in Wissa, but not many are going to have three players there. So it's like, do you spread the risk and have Collins, or do you go for the attack and have a triple up? Or, you know, I could even keep Salah, or, you know, I could play it a bit safer. I think
surely you go for free. I would not go near the Brentford defence even against Ipswich. They always.
Well, you say that Collins has got 10 attacking returns this season.
Really?
Ipswich aren't too bad.
Nathan Collins got 10 attacking returns, which I didn't know. But then Gianni Bottice, who is, to me, is an absolute FPL expert, and he's one of the first people I go to for advice. And I love the bloke. He brought up Nathan Collins, and I've not heard Nathan Collins mentioned. And he brought him in on the wild card. He's got 9. He's got 2 goals and 7 assists this season, Nathan Collins. And he's playing Ipswich. And the thing is, I just think I prefer defenders against Leicester than Ipswich, because that Delap's a tidy player. Like,
bring Steve-O in. Steo, if you had your free hit left, would you play it this week, or what do you reckon of the team?
Based on what Andrew said, I would be going for the upside of 38, where we get a lot of information. Oh, I don't know, some random. I'll give you a simple example. Would be Newcastle. We find out that Isaac isn't starting as Wilson, for instance. And I think that on game week 38, that for me, if I've still got my free hit, I think I'd be just going, do you know what, to hell with it. I will go with that particular set of fixtures. That team in front of me, or that you had with Andrew's free hit, is delightful. It really is. I mean, it's all eggs in one basket, mind, against all the 3 relegated teams. And I would expect Brentford to keep a clean sheet, funny enough, against Ipswich, because Ipswich are really, really bad at home. The way Leicester are at the moment, they've just, for whatever reason, even though they're still really bad, all of a sudden they've started scoring goals. I would not be surprised if they score 1 goal in a 2-3-1 loss against Nottingham Forest.
Now they're relegated. They're playing with a bit of freedom.
Yeah, but that's exactly the point, isn't it, Nick? It's you've got to think that a lot of they're still rubbish. I'm not sat here saying that they're going to win or even get a point out of the 3 teams that they're playing. But a lot of the players are going to be playing for either A, I want to prove myself to be in this team next season in the Championship, or B, I want to wave my flag and go, I'm for sale. I want to get the fuck out of here. I want to go abroad to Europe. I want to show that my worth is here. So I'm in the transfer market. Get me away from one of the 3 teams. And I do think that
the lap.
Steve, can I present Andrew with a proposition here? Game week 38 wildcard, 3 Bournemouth home to Leicester.
Exactly.
A couple of West Ham away to Ipswich. 3 Arsenal away to Southampton. Couple of Brentford maybe away to Wolves. Full knowledge possibly of the team sheets, or at least a lot of knowledge.
I think you load up on Liverpool as well. Liverpool,
Possibly.
Bournemouth,
Yep.
Arsenal.
I mean, look, game week 38 does have, like, you've all missed the big advantage of game week 38 free hit. It's that if my mini league is close, I can just free hit my rival's entire team in and shithouse my way to the title. And that is a nice option to have. Like, there is that safety first aspect in mind. But I've got my free hit team. I've got my team up for game week 38 at the minute. And I'll tell you what it is and see what you think. It's Raya against Southampton, Kirkes against Leicester, Byrne against Everton, Gvardiol against Fulham, De Bruyne against Fulham, Salah against Palace, Umbumo and Wissa against Wolves, Bowen against Ipswich, Cunha against Brentford, and Isak against Everton. Like, I could free hit that team, and then all those players could get double digits. You know.
Well, like you said though, in the next 3 game weeks, it's very difficult for you to free hit, but you want to maximise the fact that you've got the free hit and take advantage of game week 38 free hit, having a bit of fun on the final day. Because how many points did you say you're ahead in your mini league? Like 23, 24?
No, I'm 50, 54, 55 now.
50 points. Fuck it. Just have a laugh with game week 38. And I'll tell you a gem.
Yeah, but I'm 38 points off the top 10k, Steve-O, and I would like to. You know what it's like as a content creator. If you don't get them top 10k rankings, you're not worth listening to.
Yeah. But in all seriousness, I think that Ahmad of Man United in the next 3 fixtures, just to say, remember me. I am a Man United star, and he may over the next few fixtures. And who was it? Man United at home to, who was it on the final day? Aston Villa. I tell you what, Ahmad could be a really beautiful differential in a free hit team if you knew he was starting, for instance.
I would love to stick it to that bloody Aston Villa as well.
Can I just read out a comment? Colm has a question for you, Andrew. Where's Palmer?
Palmer.
Well, I got rid of him weeks ago because he was doing nout, and I'm certainly not bringing him in when he plays my beloved Newcastle this weekend.
All right, lads. So we'll let you maybe ponder on that one. But
I feel like it's something I'm going to be deliberating right up until. I think if Haaland is a go, I think I'll do it this week, because then the other thing is, like, I think De Bruyne starts this week. He's got a week off beforehand and a week off till the cup final. But of the 3 games in 8 days over the last week of the season, which ones is he playing? And I don't know. And I don't think I'd want to bring him in permanently, but to have him for this week could be that. And then I get Saka back.
That's a very good point. This is the game you want De Bruyne for, which kind of...
It's a shame that you won't know the team news for the Man United against West Ham, because I'm adamant that if Ahmad was to start versus West Ham this game week, I'd have him over Bowen, personally. West Ham are crap.
I'll tell you what, Steve, if I do free hit, I'll get Ahmad in just for you.
We're going to be tired then, probably, aren't they?
As long as the stream gets 20 likes.
Okay, let's just move on to...
that's me playing free hit in game week 38 now.
Let's move on to... is this Nick's team? Nick, that's your team, isn't it, Nick?
I hate my team for this week.
I'll read it out for you, Nick. Martinez in goal, Kivior and Saliba at the back, home to Bournemouth. Won't it?
I'm going to put Livramento
in this last week
instead of one.
This is last week's,
team, yeah.
Have you put the wrong one up?
I might have done. I'll see which one you sent me.
Oh dear, Gary.
No, this is
It'll be the last one.
This is why they're all going to the black box.
This is the one you sent. This is the one.
No, that's last week.
That's the one you sent. That's the last one you sent me, Nick. Nick.
Oh shit! That's
Nick, send me. We'll move on to Steve-O's team. Send me the.
Okay, I'll send you one now.
Send me one now, and we'll come back to yours. Steve-O, do you want to read us through your team and what you're planning?
Yes, this will be bench boost. So we've got Henderson, Areola, and then we got Milenkovic, Murillo, Vardiol, Aït-Nouri, and Trippier, and then Eze and Burmo. Jacob Murphy's going to be Kevin De Bruyne, but Jacob Murphy, as it stands right now, Mo Salah and Semenyo, and then Marmoush, Cunha, and Isaac. The plan was to be getting rid of Jacob Murphy to bring in either Alanga, Morgan Gibbs-White, or Kevin De Bruyne. Me and Ray have agreed on Kevin De Bruyne now because of the Murillo news, the fact that I can't express how angry I was when Ray said to me on a voice message, "Oh, just to let you know, Murillo actually pulled up," and I was just, you couldn't make it up. So I'm now having to swap. I'll tell you what, though, I may tell Ray about this Collins and just say to him about how cheeky it could be to maybe not have Nottingham Forest double defence and go with this Collins, because I didn't realise how effective Collins has been in attack, and the fact that Ipswich are so bad at home, this Collins bloke could be an interesting differential. But as it stands right now, going for safety with a Nottingham Forest defender in Nico Williams, which is annoying because he's getting rid of a Nottingham Forest defender for a Nottingham Forest defender, because the other plan was to potentially get rid of Areola for Sells and then have a triple up of, like Andrew was saying, for his free hit, having Milenkovic, Murillo and Sells as a triple up. But then I thought, I don't really want to do a move for a goalkeeper. I just want to go into game week 37 with one. So we have 2 free transfers still. Unfortunately not. And we're stuck here. And as I've said, Kevin De Bruyne is going to be coming in for Jacob Murphy and Murillo for the Nottingham Forest defender. I've got the captaincy on Cunha. I just have this feeling that both teams are going to have a bit of fun. Brighton are on the beach at the moment. Cunha looked phenomenal against Man City. And
Steve,
it's a toss-up.
Are you scarred from our Sunday in Burmo unveiling that you can't put it on him again?
I just, even though Ipswich are terrible at home, I just think that Cunha has a more better opportunity at home than in Burma away. However, I've just looked at Ipswich or more specifically Brentford away from home against crap teams, and they do score lots of goals. So maybe what Nick does is quite right, which is go with the popular captaincy pick, and then whatever your differentials are around that is fair enough. And I think that as a bench boost with the differentials in double Nottingham Forest defence and having triple Man City attack, well, more, you know what I mean, triple Man City in general could be really, really good. I've already sacked off Areola. I'll be lucky to get 2 points from him. I get that. Semenyo, I don't know why he didn't play against whoever it was the other Arsenal, but, you know, whatever. I'm not going to be getting rid of him. And then, of course, Aït-Nouri and Trippier is, of course, 2 very good options against, you know, it's at home at 12 o'clock. I don't know what on earth that's all about on a Sunday afternoon in Newcastle, but I'd like to think, Andrew, I'd expect you to be winning quite comfortably, I reckon.
What?
Well, I was going to save this for the predictions, but I predict 5-0 to Newcastle, and that's conservative.
What do you think?
I'll take that now.
I would say we are the favourites, but I think we step it up against the bigger teams. Like, that's been our flaw this season. It's been like the mid-range teams against the big teams. We step it up, and I just think St James's Park, it all on the line. But to use that old cliche, I think the first goal is crucial.
What What do you think of Cunha captain, Andrew?
Well, he was captain on my draft, so I think it's a good pick.
Oh, okay, I missed that. But you said you'd switch.
But I would probably put it on De Bruyne if I had him.
Yeah.
But I love it. I think Cunha is he's a throwback, isn't he? You know, he might headbutt someone, he might score 3 goals. Who knows? But you know, I think Cunha is the player the media hyped Darwin Núñez up to be. Like, oh, Núñez, chaos. He's not chaos, he's crap. But Cunha does it all. Like, he is box office.
Nick?
So I would captain him. Like, I think he's ace. Yeah.
Nick, do we have your team, mate? Have you sent me it?
Yeah, I sent it to you.
Steve, anything
Sent
else you
it on
anything else you want to say before we move off your team?
Yeah, as I joked, the fact that my game week 35 bench got 18 points, I'll be lucky to get that with this bench here, to be honest. Even though they've got these okay fixtures, I think that I'm going to be lucky. I mean, what, Trippier, say 2 points, 8 Nuri, let's give him an assist, that's 5, so that's 7. Semenyo against Aston Villa, an assist maybe, so that's 7, I don't know, 12, and then 13, 14. So I'll be looking at about between 12 and 14 points, I reckon, for that bench.
I would say replacing Murillo is a waste of a transfer. Like, you could, I mean, there's 3 game weeks left. What's the point? Like,
I've got to have a playing player, haven't I, for a bench?
No, you don't have to. I mean, you could.
I don't want to play 14 players, do I?
Yeah, but you're Kieran Trippier in there. He's got 2 assists and a goal written all over him. But no, but seriously, like, Murillo, he probably will play because it, like you say, Forest need it. Like, they've worked all season. They've got these 3 games to go. I think I think he gets on the pitch. And even if he doesn't, you bring someone in, like a defender, all it takes is one second, one slip up, and you've lost the points. Whereas you could bring in like an attacking player who could get you, 15, 20 points. No,
who am I going to get rid of in this team? Because we're already doing Kevin De Bruyne in for Jacob Murphy. So that's already done.
Dude, get rid of Semenyo. I have it on good authority.
No, you need Semenyo for the last game week.
I have it on good authority. There's this young lad called Amad Diallo who could be a good pick if you were on a free hit this week.
Murphy's the best one to take out.
On that note, let's go to Trig's team. Here we go. This is it, right? I'll read it out for you, Trig. Henderson away to Tottenham. We haven't got any question marks this time, though. Your lovely graphics on there, Nick. I'm a little disappointed.
Someone will be going, I think.
Henderson.
Not sure who.
Henderson away to Tottenham. Livramento at home to Chelsea. Saliba away to Liverpool. Gvardiol at home to Aston Villa. To Aston Villa. Southampton. Bowen away to Man United. Captain and Burmo away to Ipswich. Sarr away to Tottenham. Salah at home to Arsenal. Isaac home to Chelsea. Mateta and then Marmoush away to Southampton. And the assistant manager still on Gvardiol. So what do you think?
Guardiola.
Oh, sorry. Gvardiol was in the last week. Did you not hear? Guardiola was sacked and Gvardiol in a shock move was made manager. What are your thoughts, Nick?
I hate it. The defence is horrible. Absolutely awful. Having to play Livramento when Chelsea are going to thrash him. But I want Chelsea to win more than I care about FPL points this week. So I put Livramento in, hoping he blanks. And so the question is, do I make a defensive transfer or, like Andrew says, go for a high upside striker transfer for Mateta or a midfield transfer for Sarr? And I'm looking at Elanga for Sarr or possibly Visser or someone, or Visser or Cunha to Mateta, or even taking a -4 and doing both, getting in Elanga and Cunha. That's kind of appealing. I'm not sure I want double Brentford attack when I'm captaining Buemo, because if he blanks and Brentford is shit, then I've like doubled down on being crap. I'd rather spread it around a little bit. So I might get Cunha.
Cunha for Mateta?
I like Cunha's remaining fixtures. Not so much this week, but the following 2.
Would you captain
One
him
of them,
if you brought him in?
no, I captain whoever's top of the polls. But hopefully it's not De Bruyne because I can't get him. So
Do you take that into account then, Nick? I'm surprised you taking that into account because I know you like to go your own way.
No, I've done it for years. I've always captained the top of the poll because I did a lot of research on it back in a long time ago when I had my website, and it was shown year after year that you could not beat just picking the top of the poll. Every year people tried with their own systems that they had or just picking, and the top of the poll always won.
Just a quick...
Because consensus is normally right, it normally is right. On weeks when it was close, you could change, but in weeks when there was a clear captain, that was always by far the best way to go.
I just wanted to give a quick shout out. We've got Alex Volo in the chat who has watched this video earlier today, lads, is now a fellow YouTuber. So I don't know if you want to stick your name of your channel in the chat, Alex. Everyone, please go and subscribe to that. I was gonna plug it later, but does FPL content creators ranks matter? Have you guys seen Alex's video today? Nice and short, just 4 minutes.
Really good. FPL Volo is his YouTube name, his YouTube handle. So
I think the most poignant thing that he said in the whole episode, which I related with a lot, was words to the effect of, you can have gym instructors that are absolutely jacked, that look like bodybuilders, which people look at and go, well, they clearly know what they talk about, but the advice that they give isn't appropriate for an everyday person. Whereas just your regular guy that looks like me, who, I do a few weights, but I like to eat cake, I may have better knowledge to train your everyday person to live a normal life. But the thing is that unfortunately, we're always going to be looking at the person that's absolutely shredded, blah, 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 but their information isn't appropriate for your everyday person. And then with Alex Follows saying regarding FPL content creators, we all look upon them as this, this god and everything, but in reality, people don't want to look at the process of other content creators that are giving out really, really good information about how to help you with your own thought processes. And I really enjoyed this. Only, 4 minutes? If you can't spend 4 minutes of your worthless life enjoying a simple video, then, whatever. But it's very, very enjoyable.
As soon as he made the fitness comparison, I automatically thought of you, Steve-O, because you love your FPL content creator to fitness content creator comparisons, didn't you? Did you see it, Andrew?
Yeah, I did. I watched it straight away. I think I was the first one to comment on his YouTube channel. So, come on. But yeah, I thought he speaks a lot of sense, obviously it's always a hot topic, do you have to have a good rank to give good advice? And of course you don't, because what Alex was making the point is that it's about changing the way you think about the game. And someone like Praz, he meshes the two perfectly. He's got a great rank and he explains his thought process brilliantly. But, you could have someone that explains the thought process. This is how to do it. This is the way to it. But I find that boring, so I want to play a bit differently. Late Riser from the FPL Wire, he understands FPL. He knows how to play it, but he just, he lets his heart take over and he makes these wild punts and, sometimes it works and he finishes 4th in the world and sometimes it doesn't and he's 450,000. But so what? People take it very, very seriously. And I'm not someone that takes this game too seriously, but, at the end of the day, it's about fun. I can look at this and say, oh, yeah, De Bruyne is clearly the best captaincy choice this week. But you know what? I fancy taking a chance. I'm chasing top 10K. I'm going to bring in Haaland and hope for the best. I know that's the wrong process. I know that is not the optimal process. But at the same time, everyone brought in Haaland in game week 29. I went for Bruno Fernandes and captained him and beat them all by 24 points. So, sometimes you have to take a chance. And what Alex is trying to get across is that people it's about conveying information in a way that you can assimilate it into your own thought processes. And I mean, the other thing is, sometimes bad advice is great because you think to yourself, what's he talking about here? You know, this is nonsense. I'm going to stick with what I do because this bloke doesn't know what he's talking about. And that's good advice as well, because it's cemented in your head that what you think is right is right. You know, and sometimes I think people forget that people want to come away from YouTube videos feeling better than when they started. And one great way to do that is to make the audience feel cleverer than the host. And, you know, that's something you're excellent at, Gary.
Shut up.
But you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Like,
I know what you mean. I was just going to say I will not say who it was, but there was a certain FPL content creator about 5 years ago. I would used to go and watch his content specifically because I knew if he was recommending someone, I couldn't pick him.
Who is that?
I just said I'm not naming him, Nick. I'm not naming
that
him.
Olympians like that.
You can tell us after.
FPL Olympians like that at the minute, and everyone looks to see who he's bigged up, and then they go for the other option.
It's pretty crazy. His rank history is phenomenal, and yet this season it's gone down the shitter.
But this is
extraordinary.
Is he not worth listening to because he's got a few bad game weeks of predictions?
Exactly.
Some might say.
I mean, don't get me wrong. People like him don't help themselves. They do put out some absolute.
But it's entertaining. It makes you smile every week, and that's, you know, it's a hard life. No wrong with smiling every now and then.
Yeah.
You should try it, Steve.
Just say hello to Shane. Also, I like this name, C.Hunt in the chat. Nick, I think we'll cut. Sorry for cutting you off there. I just wanted to give Alex's follow. Please do go and check out his YouTube channel. A shout. So you were telling us, talking through your team. Sorry for cutting you off there, mate.
Yeah, well, basically, I think I'd already said it. I'm tossing up between Sire to a Forest midfielder. Although I have been looking at them today, and they do look a bit off form, but it's hard to know if it was off form or having all those matches in a short time kind of tired them out. So I'm not, or Cunha to Mateta, or possibly both. Defence, I've decided, although my defence is crap, I've decided against a defensive transfer, I think. Because, you know, you can't guarantee clean sheets anywhere, can you, really?
No.
And you never know. I mean, Livramento could do all right. Saliba could get a goal from a corner. You know, you just don't know, do you? So I just stick with what I've got, I think, in defence.
You sound like your mind's all over the place, Nick.
It is. I don't like my team this week.
No. Well, I am. Whoops. I am exactly.
If I didn't have my assistant manager, I probably would have done Salah to De Bruyne.
Well, if you to try and make yourself feel better, let's have a look at my team. To try and make Nick feel better. So I've got. I don't like this team at all. Martinez. I don't know why I always say Martinez. Martinez in goal away to Bournemouth.
God, say his name, Gary.
Mazraoui. I learn. Against, but yeah, I mean, fucking hell. How have I got in my team? Against, home against West Ham. Livramento against Chelsea. Gavardio against Southampton. Then I'm worried about this Crystal Palace triple up. Not this week, but the following week, Steve-O, because of the potential rotation ahead or after the FA Cup final, whichever way around it is. Sarr, Eze and Mateta. And then I've got Salah and Mbeumo in midfield. Currently Mbeumo captain. And then alongside Mateta up front, Isaac and Marmoush. I have absolutely no idea. I wish I bloody had my free hit. And so
I think, looking at this, and I'm thinking about what Andrew said about that Norwegian team. I'm actually thinking of keeping my Palace assets.
Yep.
Because if they're playing on this artificial pitch in the Arctic Circle, what state are they going to come back in?
I was more worried about them next week. And
next week they've got to go, haven't they? But,
not so much this week.
You could just save it this week and then get 2 of them out next week.
Possibly. I mean,
Who's on your bench?
oh yeah, Ray away to Liverpool, so
Oh, you could play Rodgers.
could play Rodgers. Rodgers,
No.
Kilman.
Rodgers.
Steve-O was so annoyed when I know that Steve-O must know my team by heart now, because when I said to him, West Ham 1-0, and he went, "Oh no, you never guess who got the assist?" And he went, "It wasn't bloody Kilman, was it?" Which it wasn't, unfortunately. Kivior.
Kilman.
So I usually I try and put a bit of thought in before I do the stream, but I've had a really hectic couple of days, and I've not even had a look at my team. So my original thoughts were to get in one of the strikers who had a good fixture, like Visser or Wood, but I really don't know. I mean, I could save it.
I think that team's fine if you want to save your transfer to deal with the Palace next week.
Yeah.
I mean, I could go straight from Mateta to. I mean, the bonus of being on FPL is I actually can check. I think
Get Cunha. Get Cunha.
Cunha. I don't know if I can
Cunha
get
or
that.
Visser, isn't it? Or would you
Yeah,
get?
Mateta's more
I've
expensive.
got 10.8. I don't know where I've got that money from, but I could
No.
basically.
You could get De Bruyne.
Take a
in
hit.
this
Get
week.
Haaland.
I
Can
can't
you
get.
get De Bruyne?
Well, yeah,
Can you-
potentially.
Can you go Sar to De Bruyne? Have you got enough money for that?
No, I've got
You could-
8.9.
What about-
He's more expensive than 8.9, isn't he?
What about Sarah and
Yeah,
Mateta
he
to
is
Cunha
nine
and De Bruyne? For a hit. I think that's worth the hit. Especially if you're Captain De Bruyne.
So
Has he got enough money for that?
Sar and Mateta.
Cunha costs more than Mateta, doesn't he?
No, I don't think so.
Sar and Sar.
Sar and Mateta. Cunha and De
Sar's going
Bruyne.
to De Bruyne. I don't think this will work, to be honest.
Well, it's worth a look.
I've got 7 million.
I
left,
think.
No, I think
that
Cunha's
might be
more than
enough.
7 million.
but I could maybe get.
We'll find out in a second.
I
You
could
could
maybe.
get Visser and
Oh, he's 7.1. I'm 1.1 off.
Oh dear.
So
So
you
it's weird. I
could
could
get
get
Visser.
Visser in, yeah. I don't like
For a
taking.
hit.
I don't like taking hits at this point of the season, though. Like, I'm 21 off the top 10k or whatever it is, 20 something. I don't want to give 4 of those away before
looks
the.
good though, doesn't it? That
Yeah,
looks
but if
good.
you think De Bruyne is the best captaincy, is it worth investing 4 points in him to get his captain points, especially if you're upgrading your striker? Like, will these Palace players even play the full match against Spurs?
I
They've got
think they will.
they've got the biggest match in a decade next week. You know, and Mateta's
Yeah.
not exactly in form, is he?
No. I was lucky he didn't punish me last week when I benched him.
I think if you're bringing in someone that you think can outdo them over the next 3 weeks, like 2 players for the next 3 weeks, I think it's worth it, especially if
Yeah,
you're
but
captain.
De Bruyne's rubbish after this week, though, isn't he?
Well, that's a gamble. At least you've got Morgan Rogers on the bench.
Yeah, I mean,
Palace could go off. Palace could go off against Tottenham, and they're quite highly owned, aren't they?
They could, aye.
I mean,
It's
who's
just
It's a bit risky.
there's something in me. I saw in Burmo's expected goals earlier, and his stats are really good. I mean, he's got Wolves away in the final game week, and he's got Fulham at home next week. I don't know. There's something about me wants to bring him in for Mateta.
Wisser.
Yeah,
I brought Wisser in last week. He's fantastic.
yeah. He's
Brentford
yeah,
do great again.
He just keeps
lower
ticking
teams.
over. I think Brentford and Wolves are just going to keep scoring loads. They'll concede loads and they'll score loads in the last 3 matches.
his XG.
You know-
his XG is massively higher. I think almost double in Burmo's.
It's up there with Haaland and Isak.
Yeah. So I might do that. I mean, Wood, I don't know. I've not owned Chris Wood all season. I want to call my team next year. I always name it for anyone who's new to the channel after the player who upset me most last season. I hate Callum Wilson. Despite him being a Newcastle player, I want to call my team next season. I hate Chris Wood. So I can't bring him in and have him do well for me because it would completely destroy the narrative for my team name next year.
Just call them I Hate Aston Villa and you'll be fine.
Yeah, and I think Mbeumo, regardless of the transfer, I think Mbeumo will... I'm going to stick with him. I mean, basically, I bought him in with the idea that I was going to captain him this week. So getting rid of him at this point would seem... I mean, not captain him now would be a change of plan, and I don't like doing that.
I think you're fine this week. Roll the transfer, then you've got 2 to decide next week what to do. Huh? Maybe next week you want Marmoush and Mateta out for Wissa and Cunha.
Well, I guess if Haaland's back as well, I'll have a look at. I'll have a think about it. So, lads, let's move on to our.
Mateta is only going to get 50, 60 minutes, so isn't he?
I think so. They'll bring Nketiah on. Like I say, it's the biggest match in 10 years, this cup final, and they need to be at the peak. I think they'll play for fitness. They'll be pulling out the tackles, but Spurs are probably going to be just the same. And I think Spurs are going to get a couple of injuries on Friday night, whenever it is to play, just because of the surface and the temperature. And I think Bodo Glimt are going to beat them.
Madison's out for 3 months already, isn't he?
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gone for 3 months. He might not even be ready for next season.
No, I didn't realise he'd played this season. He's done note.
Let's do our predictions, lads. So, FPL Nightmare Andrew said to me last night, I don't like the predictions. I always skip through them when you do them. And then today he said, I want to do predictions. So I've put them back in there.
The trouble is you never come back and tell us how we got on in the previous week.
Oh, cool, Ben. I need...
You don't read it. You've got to keep a record of the predictions.
These live streams are experimental, Nick. I'm still getting used to them. Next year, mate. Next year. So let's have a go through them. Nick, you start us off. Fulham, Everton. Not a lot to play for here, is there?
Tricky one, isn't it? This one. I'll go for a 1 each.
1 each. Steve-O?
Yeah.
Yeah, I immediately look at that fixture and I go, horrible, horrible, horrible. No one has any of their assets whatsoever other than O'Brien, Mikalenko, Pickford. And you just know they're going to get a clean sheet this week when everybody's going to be benching them. So you just look at a 0-0. But I'll go with Fulham to win 2-1.
I'll go Fulham because whenever I predict them to do well, they don't. 2-1. I'll go with Steve-O's one. Andrew?
1-0, 1-1, 2-1. 3-0 Everton.
Is that why you wanted to do the prediction so you could do your Steve-O impression?
No, 3-0 Everton. Bugger it, I think they'll go for it. Like you say, nobody's got anyone. Nobody cares. Fulham are wildly inconsistent. Although they did lose last week to Aston bloody Villa, so they'll probably win this week. Who knows? Nobody cares. Let's move on to the next game, one that actually matters.
Steve-O, everyone else has left the stream a minute. I need to leave the stream for 2 minutes to powder my nose. Will you take us through the predictions while I pop off for a second?
Yeah, certainly. Obviously, it's Ipswich versus Brentford at the moment, and this is a game where a lot of people are going to be focusing on the fact that whether they captain Mbeumo or not, I'm assuming he's leading all the polls and whatnot. I personally think that this is going to be looking at the current form of both teams here, that Brentford are probably going to score quite a few goals here. So I just looked at it and went 4-1, Andrew. What do you reckon?
4-0. Collins clean sheet.
Yeah, that is something I'm going to speak to Ray about. Nick, what are you going with this particular fixture?
2-1 to Brentford. I think Delap has scored. I think Ipswich has scored. Yeah, and 2-1. I'm not as bullish as a lot of, even though I've got my captain on Mbeumo, it's only because everyone else is. I'm not that bullish. I'm not that bullish on any games this week in terms of high scoring, apart from Man City. But they spread the points around so much that I think if Brentford win 2-1, Mbeumo should get something. But
it's certainly a game week which doesn't exactly infuse many with confidence, other than, like you stated, with if Haaland was fit, if he had never got injured, we're all captaining Haaland. That's just a simple fact. So it is Southampton versus Man City next, Nick. I'm going with the history is suggesting Man City to score 4 goals. I'm going to go 4-0 to Man City, Nick. What are you thinking?
3-0. I'll go 3-0.
3, yeah. Andrew?
I think I'm going to predict Southampton take a shock lead and then get absolutely hammered.
Yeah.
It's like 6-1 or 7-1, like San Marino in England back in the day.
Yeah.
I just that team.
Was that McDonald who scored 8 goals or something? Was that someone called McDonald?
Super Mac for England.
Newcastle.
I think was it 6 goals against Cyprus or something? 4 goals against Cyprus. It was a record at the time. But I'm thinking of San Marino when San Marino went 1-0 up in '93 and England won 7-1, but they needed to get to 8-1 to qualify ahead of Holland, and they didn't. You know.
Well, talking of high-scoring games, I think this next game between Wolves and Brighton has the potential to be high-scoring. We all thought it was going to be the same between Brighton and Newcastle last week. It ended with 1-1. But Wolves versus Brighton. I'm going a 3-2 victory to Wolves, Andrew.
I'll say 3-3. In fact, no, I'll say 5-3. It'll be a 5-3 in one direction, and you can toss a coin and decide.
Yes. Nick, are you confident in a high-scoring 5-3?
No, I'll go 1 each.
Cancel each other out, yeah, be typical. I know Gary's back here. We'll just finish on this quickly.
Wolves' defence has been pretty good, hasn't it? Wolves have been very good defensively.
They've tightened right up.
Yeah.
Is it 6 wins on the bounce or something?
I'm just seeing if this is a table bonus game. Is that a table bonus?
No, it isn't. I looked at that for you.
Oh, it isn't.
No, because Wolves have done so well. They've got back up the table.
I was recommending someone go Wolves on their assistant manager, but it's not a table bonus.
No. Well, if you want table bonus, you want Amorim. Yeah, and West Ham isn't this week, but then the next 2 weeks he's got Man United have got Chelsea, and then
they're not going to win that, are they?
Well, I don't know. I think it's exactly the sort of game they'll win.
Well, talking of games and potential upsets, if you could call it that. Bournemouth at home to Aston Villa. Obviously, Aston Villa trying to tie down that Champions League spot, whereas Bournemouth are trying to fight for that European. Aston Villa are a completely different team away from home. Bournemouth are very, very good at home. And I think Bournemouth come out on top of this and go with a 2-1, Andrew.
I would be happy with that result. Knowing the way Aston Villa are affecting my life at the minute, I'm going to say 7-0 to Aston Villa. But no, I think it'll be a draw.
Yeah, 1-1, 2-2, around that area. They both can score. It's just a factor of the way, what's his name? Emery kind of like to set up at the moment. It'd be trying to hit Bournemouth from the break. Nick, what are you thinking on Bournemouth I say on the beach, but Bournemouth?
Yeah, it's tricky. I'll go 2-1 to Villa, I think. Although I want them to lose, but whether they will or not. Bournemouth haven't won a game for months, have they?
Saving it to save my life against Aston bloody Villa. I hate them, like. I don't.
Chelsea need them to lose.
Well, this is the thing. The next match on Sunday, the opening day is on Sunday, is Newcastle versus Chelsea. An absolutely ginormous game between the two. Chelsea obviously playing in Europe tomorrow. I don't know if it'll have much effect on...
Are you not going to ask my prediction?
Well, no, I thought we'd just quickly get through this and we'll move on to the next topic because we'll be here all bloody night. I've got to get going.
Can I say one thing, Steve-O? The ultimate prediction last week, who said on his predictions that it would be the week that Carlton Palmer... Carlton Palmer, I keep getting around it. Cole Palmer broke his duck and it would be a 3-1 to Liverpool.
Yeah, I would say you should be more proud of the fact that Liverpool lost rather than Palmer getting a penalty. Even though, according to Nick, he played really, really well along with the media.
Skip through him. Leave me out the predictions. That's fine.
Well, this is the thing. Newcastle versus Chelsea. This is genuinely a really, really big game for both teams. But I do think Newcastle will come through this because they are at home. They always, like Andrew said, seem to get up for the big matches. And I'm going to go with a I'm gonna go bullish here. I'm gonna go 3-1 to Newcastle. Nick?
Well, Chelsea were superb the other night. I haven't seen them play that good since Matt Maresca came in. Lavia, Casado. Their midfield, I think, is going to dominate Newcastle. I think Joel Linton. I think he's out for the season, is he, Joel Linton?
Yeah, still Tonali and Guimaraes.
Big loss for you
a big
guys.
loss.
The only thing I'm worried about is that Chelsea have got Europe tomorrow night and might make a slight difference. But they've hit form again just at the right time. And Newcastle aren't in great form. But the St. James's Park factor could play against Chelsea, but we shall see. We shall see. I'd be happy with a draw, to be honest. But that game against Forest in game week 38 that Chelsea's got is going to be massive.
Yeah, a draw would suit both teams if Aston Villa were to fail against Bournemouth. Andrew, Newcastle, obviously your team at home, 12 o'clock kickoff against Chelsea. You said 5-0 earlier. Were you being serious or?
Well, I'd just like to push back on this Newcastle out of form thing because we've won 20 of the last 26 games. You know, that's sensational form. But we did have even last week against Brighton. Normally Brighton stuff us down at the Amex and we got a draw. We're coming back. But no, I take the point about Joe Linton. But I mean, the midfield's where it'll be won and lost. And I think our midfielders are better. I think our team's better. I think our defence is better. And I think we've got a better striker. And I'd even
got a better striker, all right. I'll give you that one.
I don't think it'll be 5-0, but I do think Newcastle will win. And I would agree with Steve, it'll be 3-1. They'll go 2-1 up and then they'll catch them on the counter-attack.
Well, there were lots of goals between Man United and Brentford the other day. They're up against West Ham. West Ham are absolutely pants. I think they're just wanting to send this season as quickly as possible. Man United, on the other hand, they'll be coming off the back of whatever happens in Europe tomorrow. And obviously, there will be a few changes made by Man United. Will Graham Potter be able to take advantage? I don't know. But I have a sneaky suspicion that Man United are actually, because West Ham are just pants. I'm going to go with an end-to-end here, bizarrely. And I'm going to go with a 3-2 to Man United. And I think, I don't know why, I just think Ahmad, he's come back, he scored a goal the other day. I think he wants to prove that he is the star of that Man United team. Nick, are you confident in Man United?
No, I'll go for one each again.
Yeah.
West Ham doing one each every week, aren't they?
Yeah, that would, again, it wouldn't be, if I saw that as the scoreline, I would be like, yeah, doesn't surprise me at all.
Are they going to rotate United?
I have no opinion because I think both teams are crap. So we'll just say a crap draw.
Yeah, 1-1. I mean, you just asked then, are they going to rotate, Nick? I think there's going to be a few changes. I don't think to the extent of what it was the other day against Brentford, because now they are 3-0 up and probably will get into the final of the Europa League. I think that they're going to want to get. They're going to want to go into that Europa League final with some confidence and some winning format, and I think that certainly up against a West Ham team who can be got at, I think the Man United. Yeah,
it's not until the 21st of May, which is a long time away. So there probably will be less rotation now, won't there?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and well, the next match is the big one. It is Nottingham Forest up against Leicester. People like Gary are wondering whether not to bring in Wood or not. I just don't think it's really worth it considering his form and whatnot. They are up against Leicester. Leicester, I looked at it already, away from home, they just do not score goals. It is just whatever it is to nil. And I'd like to think that Nottingham Forest will finally keep a clean sheet. I've been holding on to double Nottingham Forest for weeks and weeks and weeks. I think they'll finally get it. And I'm going to go with a boring 1-0 win. Andrew?
2-0.
2-0. Yeah, let's just move on, Nick.
I'll go with that. Speaking of Forest, who would you say, if I did get a defender in this week, who would be the best Forest defender just to bring in?
William seems to be one in form. That's all I looked at. I just saw that his returns lately have been relatively consistent, so probably Williams.
was Milenkovic, wasn't it? It was getting all the points not so long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, Milenkovic has got 4 goals and 2 assists, if that factors into your thinking. But he hasn't done much for a while. And I think Williams' attacking returns have been a bit more recent. Yeah, I mean, he got an assist last week. He got one against Aston Villa.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
I might bring one in on the grounds that Palace could batter Tottenham if Tottenham have struggle in Europe. We'll see how that game goes tomorrow.
Well, the history, I've just looked at it, is Spurs love playing Crystal Palace. The last time they played, it did end up with a 1-0 victory to Crystal Palace. Mateta scoring thanks to Eze assisting him. But other than that, Spurs love playing Crystal Palace. However, history for Spurs this season really hasn't been on their side. They're a completely different team. I think that Crystal Palace are going to beat Spurs, and I'm going to go with I think 2-1. I'll be conservative, Nick.
Yeah, it's a hard one to call, isn't it, this game?
Yeah.
I'll go for 1 each.
I think that's your 6th 1-1.
I'm going to win the pools this week, aren't I?
Andrew?
I think Palace win 5-0. We'll say 5-0.
5-0, yeah, let's go with that. And then finally, a Liverpool team that probably will end up beating Arsenal 5-0 if they're at the races, because I really do think Liverpool could turn up in this particular fixture and absolutely annihilate Arsenal. No matter what the result is tonight, I think that Liverpool could have a bit of fun here. And I'm going to be conservative. I've got in my head 3-1 to Liverpool, and that's what I'm going to say. Andrew?
I think it's hard to call. I think Liverpool probably go full strength at home. But, you know, like, how switched on are they going to be? Van Dijk celebrating being, 2-1 or 3-1 down at the weekend when he scored? Like, what sort of attitude is that, really, when my FPL points are on the line here? You know, Newcastle's Champions League place is on the line and Van Dijk's dancing around like a... But Arsenal, you know, they've got a big emotional match tonight. They could have to play 120 minutes. I find it very difficult to call, and it's one of the reasons why I'm tempted by the free hit this week, just because I think Newcastle and Chelsea and Liverpool and Arsenal are very tough to call from a neutral perspective. Liverpool and Arsenal could be like 0-0 to 5-5, and it could be like the reserves playing, or it could be the entire first teams, and anything could happen. So what I will say is a Núñez hat-trick, a Trossard hat-trick, and Raheem Sterling to get the winner.
No, that's
4-3 Arsenal.
But Sterling scoring no chance. Nick?
2-1 to Liverpool. I think Liverpool turn up for this, surely.
Yeah, they want to try and build a bigger gap.
Yeah, they're not going to, you know, no one likes losing, do they? And they lost to Chelsea. That's going to hurt them, even though they've won the league. They're still not going to like it. So we're going to come out and, devalue their trophy a bit, I think, if they lose at home to Arsenal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do agree with that. I think that losing the last... not necessarily losing every game, but let's just say they did, losing the last 3 or 4 games, kind of puts a tarnish on the actual title win itself. I think that from a professional standpoint, I'd like to think that it's a bit like Burnley. You know, they could have easily have just gone into the last couple of games knowing we're being promoted and not put in a professional output. If anything, they put in 2 of the best performances I've seen all season. So, and that's after them going out being really drunk and having a right laugh. Gary, there we are. There's the predictions, mate.
Thank you so much for doing that, Steve. It's nice to have a little bit of a rest during the stream as well. So, couple of things that I thought we would do. I also noticed how much the viewer numbers went off during the predictions, so I think we may scrap those going forward.
They'll be back in 10 minutes once they're over.
So I thought we'd see... okay, this is inspired by 2 things. First of all, Alex Vollo's video today about how good should FPL content creators, should we take into account their ranks, but mainly by TriggerLips. Was it a couple of weeks ago, Trig? You looked at a tool that basically ranked as a percentage what percentage you are in each year finish in FPL. Is that right?
Yeah, it ranked your seasons as a percentage finish rather than which is kind of more accurate because it takes into account the number of players that are playing the game.
Okay, so what I thought is, what if there was a tool that would do that for your entire FPL career? And I put out a tweet about a few days ago, and a number of people sent this tool to me. Okay, now I cannot.
But that's not.
I cannot speak to its accuracy. www.premierleaguefantasytools.com. Have you heard of it, Nick?
Yeah, there's quite a few different ones floating about, isn't there?
Yeah, I think so. So
I'll have my say on it in a minute when you've.
That's all right. Well, I thought we would have a look at our 3 ranks. I'm just getting rid of. Okay, and I would just say beforehand, I've definitely not run this beforehand, and it definitely doesn't come out making me look well. That would be a terrible thing to do. I did suggest this, lads, didn't I, a few days ago? So I thought we would just have a look at our ranks as well. Look at Andrew there. I wonder who is going to come off worse for this. I will read through the methodology. So it says, how are the ranks calculated? The logic of these calculations is rather simple. Any team that ranks well in the Fantasy Premier League wins points, which enables it to climb up the world rankings. The point systems for the rankings take into account the following factors. I don't think it takes into account this season. Oh, I don't know. It does. Current season performance, weighted based on how much of the season has been played. Previous season deprecates by year, which basically means and this is probably specifically the case for Nick, the longer your good ranks were, the less they're taken into account. And ranks are updated monthly. So it's going to kind of provide a overall ranking of our FPL history based on our overall ranks, but with our performances in 10, 15 years ago would be given much less weight than our performances in the last 2 seasons, for example. So let us start with our esteemed guest, Andrew. And I thought it gives us a bit of a chance to just look at our ranking histories as well. You know what I mean? Andrew is looking very, very excited to do this, I can tell.
Just can't see why anybody's going to care. But, So, I had a good season 10 years ago.
Well,
I didn't actually.
So
I mean, look at that. Look at that. Scroll down to that previous rank history.
Go on, talk us through it.
Right. What I am going to say is, what year did they introduce 2-factor verification? It was 21-22. And look what happens. Every other year, I got hacked. Every single year. You'd think I'd changed my password, but, they just got me. Just like they got Let's Talk Andy that year. He did bad.
But this is the great... This is
hacked every season. Unbelievable. You wouldn't... I would have said this earlier, but you wouldn't have believed me if I told you.
This is the point where you come in and say, I wasn't taking it seriously until 2019, 2020. I was
no, I wouldn't say I wasn't taking it seriously. What I would say is I wasn't very good. I ended up, I was behind my mates, and then I didn't really understand the game. Like the early years, I couldn't give 2 fucks about the game, to be honest with you. I got bored quite early on. But I wasn't very good at the game. And I started, doing silly things. Like I tripled Captain Mitrovic because we were playing Sunderland, and I thought I'll create this narrative here, and then I started learning a bit more about it in 2019-20, and that was my best season. And then 2021, I just did crap again because, again, I ended up behind my mates, and I started taking hits to try and catch them. And then at the end of that season, I realised, if I want to actually beat them, I'm going to have to actually learn how to play the game properly. And so what I did was I started just copying FPL Review for the rest of the time, and I've been great ever since. No, that's not true. That's not true. I don't use FPL Review. You just learn them. You just learn as you go, and you have to have fun. Like last season, I did. I was doing a bit of a daft challenge, and I only did it for about 5 weeks because I was doing so bad it was horrible, and then I just couldn't get it back. But I mean, it's just a game. I've had 2 good finishes in the last 3 seasons. I'm up to 35k right now. So does that make me a good player, or does me getting 1.2 million back in 2019 make me crap? It's a combination of both. I like to have fun. I like to go for it, and if I'm behind my mates, I try and beat them. And obviously, the more you're chasing this game, the further behind you end up, because that's the nature of the game. It's like Trigger with the captaincy. The more chances you take, the more likelihood is that it's going to go against you, because you can't get it right, these wild punts week upon week. So yeah, I had a bad. I've got a bad history. I couldn't give 2 fucks, sir. I've had a lot more fun than most people.
How do you feel about your all-time FPL player rank of 206,000? This is coming out.
I have no opinion whatsoever. I'm just worried that some people over on their Twitter are going to come out there and say, "Oh, you shouldn't watch FPL Nightmare's videos. Do you not know about his all-time rank history?"
Okay.
And I'll be like, yeah, but it's all right, because this year I'm following Gianni's advice and I'm doing way better.
I did say beforehand, we did all give our permissions to look at these, did we not, lads? Just for clarification. All right, so sorry, mate.
These are just numbers. Overall rankings come and go, but championships are forever. And that League of Gentlemen championship will be mine in 3 weeks. And that's all I really care about.
I do agree with Andrew. I think that, in fact, Nick brought it up in a video where I think the lost art of caring about mini leagues is gone. I think there's a lot of people that care more about the overall ranks than they do, like myself and Andrew. I couldn't care less if I ended up a millionth so long as I win the Torbay Elite, for instance, or the Moderator League. That would be something which I care about more than ending up as high a rank as possible.
Okay. Don't spoil my moment, lads. All right, let's have a look at... Trig's next. So obviously Trigger is one of the great all-time FPL managers, particularly back in the early years. So we can go through Nick's overall rank history. 35.
Mental.
1,000.
Hi, Astrid. My assistant manager, Astrid's here.
Hello, Astrid. 592, and we've got a lot of other ranks here. But obviously he's done... slightly well in the last few seasons. I mean, do you want to talk us through your rank history, Nick? Not every single one, but you're a proud man with your rank history, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, it was a long time ago, like you said, but I've had 4 top 1K finishes, and 5-year period was the best in the history of FPL. I think you've missed a couple out there underneath that were both top 500.
I think maybe it only takes into account the last 10. I think maybe it only takes into account the last 10 years.
I don't like all these sites that do this, because I think they reward consistency, but they also tie your team in. Like if you want to take a break, like in 2021, I was completely sick of FPL, and I just wanted to not that year, just go up a bit.
Yeah, you were talking about this on your video the other day, weren't it? And in our interview.
That one there, I was completely sick of FPL, and I gave up about Easter time, I think.
Yeah, I
nearly deleted my team.
You talked about it in our interview, didn't you?
And the thing is, with these tools, you can't do that, because if you do that, it completely stuffs you. I mean, because they take more account of previous season, closer seasons, don't they?
Recent seasons.
So that one there has completely screwed my overall rankings just from taking a break. And whatever. I mean, really, the only 2 seasons that count are this season and next season. All the rest is a load of bollocks. It's meaningless.
No,
it's only this season and next season that counts. You know what I mean?
No, it's the negativity coming out of these guys, Kat. So you're
right. And I've noticed too that some of the people in the top 10 on this list have never even had a top 1,000 finish.
Okay, but I think we should give it some. We should give it some credibility, Nick. I mean, we'll see. We'll see who's the best out of the 4 of us. We have no idea what's going to happen. I mean, you're 10 times.
It's you.
You're 10 times better than Andrew according to this. Sorry, Andrew.
What I would just like to say is I was watching your excellent interview with Mira, FPL Mez 8, on yesterday, and she raised the point, like a lot of people think, the rankings in the earlier years don't count as much because not as many people were playing. But she raised the point that in the earlier years, there was probably a lot more engaged managers as a percentage. So in many respects, those ranks were probably harder to come by. And I think it's actually a bit unfair on Nick here that they've decided, you might have finished 35th. Who cares? Well, I care. You finished 35th in the world, and I think
I've never even had a top 1,000.
How do you figure out the weighting of these things? I don't know, but yeah, people should check out that interview with Mira on Gary's Have a Beer channel because it's quite a good one. It's a long one, but 1.25 speed is your friend.
Steve-O is a particular fan of that interview, I can tell you. All right, so we'll check out Steve-O's one. So just to recap for the viewers, so Andrew on 200,000. This is all-time rank. Nick TriggerLips still on a very respectable 20,000. Let's have a look at Steve-O's 45,000 all-time rank. But we'll have a look at because I noticed I'd never looked at Steve-O's rank history. I didn't realise you had such a good rank history in the back in the day, Steve-O. Just a couple of not so good seasons in the last few years.
Yeah, and I said to you privately, but I happily discuss it openly. I couldn't give a shit, to be honest with you. I do put the last couple of seasons, including this season, a bit down to the whole content creating space and feeling a bit of pressure from the audience and questioning what you do, and then you feel like you need to follow into a sheep mentality. And it's not particularly pleasant for me to be going through that process. I try my hardest to block out the noise. It is very difficult to do so when you're reading comments or during live streams when you're planning on doing something. Then you got 10 people telling you to do the template way, and it does get stuck in your mind, unfortunately. And I do feel that over the past few seasons I've lost the whole thing of, well, no one's looking at this particular character. I think that take Collins as the prime example here. I've seen the fact that Collins, in every single away fixture, he gets a decent return. I'm going to go with him. But instead it's, no, go with the Nottingham Forest defender, go with the Nottingham Forest defender. Most people will be saying, no, go with the Nottingham Forest defender. It's like, yeah, I better do that instead. And it's not particularly pleasant to be saying that. And it's pretty sad to be saying that I'm being swayed by the crowd. But unfortunately, that is the case. I always do make the point, though, that I don't profess that I would be winning mini leagues because of this. But certainly if I did go with my gut instinct, I'd probably be about 30 points better off each season, give or take, which would, I don't know how many points, 30 points this season extra puts me up in the ranking system, but I'd probably be about 300k. It's nothing special. It's nothing particularly interesting, but certainly I've noticed definitely over the last 2 seasons and including this season that every single last several game weeks, everything seems to fall in place, and I can't explain why. I go through pretty much the same process between game weeks 1 to 30 and nothing goes right, and then between the 30 and 38 everything turns to gold. I can't explain that whatsoever, Gary, but yeah, I do look at my history and I think, fucking hell, actually it's not too bad. And it brings back specifically the the 2018-19 season where Jason and me were having a proper ding dong of a fight, and it got to the point where Jason was going so far ahead that I remember being in the room next door, being on my camera phone and literally talking about Jason potentially winning the overall game. He was doing that well, and his punts were just paying off left, right, and centre.
That's the season you started like FPL, wasn't it?
Yeah, November 2018 is when we started uploading stuff on YouTube and live streaming more specifically. And certainly it was an era in which me and Jason and Dan were having real in-depth conversations about FPL and the fact that with Jason, he was taking so many punts and they were always paying off. And it kind of goes into what Alex Vollo talks about, really. There are so many variants involved in FPL, and luck being one of them. It's just a simple fact. And I always do remember that particular season being very fondly of the fact that during that particular period, genuinely helping Jason to where there was a point where I just always remember on a Saturday evening, he was something like 19th in the world. I can't remember the specific rank, but it was ludicrous. It was a bit like Nathan Bacon when he was first or third in the world on a Saturday evening or whatever. But obviously Nathan was doing it from a gimmick point of view where he used all his chips or whatever it was. Whereas in Jason's case, he was playing the game properly and it propelled him to that higher rank. So, yeah. But certainly, yeah, over the last few seasons, it's been a bit... Especially where is it? 2020, 2021 during the coronavirus. That I fucking hated that season. I nearly quit the game. I really did. I was literally sat on the toilet. I was sat on the toilet and my finger was hovering over the delete account button. That's how close I was. And Dan kind of talked me out of it. But that season was just horrific from my perspective. But yeah, I'm quite happy with.
44.
I'm amazed it's come out with that average, to be honest with you.
45,000. It's not bad at all, is it?
Yes.
You get a season like that 20 one that you hated, where you were a million odd, and it just skews all the ranks for all the other ones, doesn't it? And it's kind of, it means you can't have a break if you care about these ratings. Then it ties you to FPL like a slave, doesn't it?
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't really care for any of this, to be honest with you. If we weren't talking,
if you're not enjoying a season, you should just be able to give up and stop if you want to, shouldn't you? Really?
Do you know what? I absolutely agree. But in fact, I'm still in that debating mode now about whether to play this or not, because there was something that you said on your video where it's literally what you just said. If you're not enjoying the game and it's kind of affecting you mentally, just give up. And I was thinking, yeah, I want to do that. But then there's other things that you say, along with Andrew, where it's you enjoy the content that people like myself put out, and it's things like this that I genuinely enjoy doing. It's kind of like it's a very difficult path that I'm on at the moment. It's I enjoy doing the content, but the game I'm kind of getting bored with. So it's a very difficult decision for me this particular summer.
Right, let's just, obviously we all hate this sort of thing, but just for the sake of completeness, we'll put my rank in there. So just to remind the audio listeners, Andrew's on about 200,000, Steve-O 40,000, Nick. I'd be embarrassed to show my rank compared to these amazing players. I definitely haven't been looking at it all day. 8,000. 8,000! Surprise guy. 8,000 of all time. Wow. 8,000 of all time rank. Let's have a quick look at his rank history there. Yeah, it's not that impressive. I do think it shows that it.
I disagree. I think that's very impressive.
Well, I'm consistent.
Yeah.
I'm consistent.
You know,
I've not missed a game week.
You've been inside the top 12,100 2 seasons running. I think that's, it's a difficult game.
That is very good.
People forget that this is a difficult game, and you're competing against millions of people on guesses. This is basically guesswork, and we try and funnel it down to make it easier guesswork. And to be honest, I think the game has done that itself in a way, because like back in the day, you used to have these like unknown players, because of the pricing. The pricing was a lot more stringent, and you'd have to have like 3 promoted players just to be able to fit into the budget. Whereas now, like, was it last season? It was easy to have like Foden, Saka, Salah, Palmer, and Mbeumo with Haaland up front, and you could pretty much have that all season. And it's like they've made it easier for the casual, and you can understand why, because they want the engagement. But I think even doing that, I think it's a very difficult game. And I think people often forget how difficult a game it is, because we all talk about how great certain people are, but how many people have actually won the game? What, 16 people ever have finished first? Even like how many of us have ever finished number 1 in a game week, never mind a season? it's a very difficult game, and I think people forget that sometimes. And you know, I think you say no, it's not a very impressive rank history. You've got in the last 6 years, you've got 4 top 100k finishes, you've got 3 top 50k, and you've got 2 12.1k top finishes, and that's incredible. Like 3,034 last season is higher than most people that ever play the game will ever get, and I think you should give yourself and FPL Review more credit.
Yeah, and I sort of put myself down there. Really, I'm bigging myself up. I just wanted these guys to say something nice about me. So big up to this Premier League fantasy tools. If you want to see where you're rated and if you're better than, I mean, you know, I won't give it any other plug except it says I'm better than TriggerLips.
Your history is perfect for that algorithm or whatever it is, isn't it? Because you've got those
that's
recent.
That's all I do is I fix it for the algorithm
and consistency, and the recent good ones. And I think that's what it rewards. But I think, did you see that video I did the other day when I said anyone could get top 100k if they just like follow somebody like
Review or Let's Talk FPL and
Review and
Harry?
Some of the top, you know, people like Praz and Harry. You just follow them and Review, and you can get a rank history that will look really good on that.
Of course, you weren't aiming that at me.
I don't know. Is that what you do? Is that what you do?
No. Well, over the 10 years, it's been a complete mixture of things. But
no, but that's what you do next. I think you said you used to take too many hits and stuff, didn't you?
I did.
And,
yeah. Well, that's why when you guys suggested earlier I take a hit, I was very. I think I take two this season, maybe. But lads, I thought.
So if you just
go on, mate.
Oh no, it's all right. Carry on.
I was going to say I was going to end just with a quick chat. Andrew, so we had a look at Andrew's video last week, and Nick, you said you wanted for anyone who didn't watch last week's episode, Andrew FPL Nightmare usually does his videos in largely a wrestling promo mode, and last week you sort of broke kayfabe. That's the correct terminology, isn't it?
Yeah, it is the correct term, right?
And went into himself, and both Nick, Steve-O, and myself said we really loved it, and Andrew asked for our feedback. So, and then Nick said right at the end, Andrew, what was your feedback on our feedback? And I don't know, just the general communities, the comments you had and stuff.
All I can say is it's lucky for TriggerLips he lives in New Zealand, because I would have been coming for a Jew couple. I'm only joking. No, I thought it was lovely to hear. You know, your biggest criticism seemed to be that the other videos aren't as good. So, you know, I'll take that. But no, I don't. I'm happy for people to, like, when I started that style, I knew it would be, you know, love or hate. It's not the sort of thing, oh, it's all right. It's like, you know, it's a tough field to stand out in, and like you say, my ranking
It did get you a lot of promotion, didn't it?
It did, you know, because it stands out.
It put you on the map. It put you on the map.
But I do think the time is probably right to transition into a more natural style. And I think what people might not realise, a lot of it is like to hide the lack of confidence. You know, I've never been on screen. So if I have all this wild stuff going on, it almost distracts from me staring right at you the whole time. But over the course of the season, coming on like your show, Gary, and on yours, Steve-O, and the wonderful Roberto's show, it builds your confidence, you know, talking.
And the form is temporary podcast.
Yeah, like talking to you on your interview, Gary, was, you know, I was quite open, I think, about a lot of like my history and stuff. And it's like, well, if I can talk about that, why can't I talk about this game? You know, so, and really, I think it was a bit of a missed opportunity, because that interview got me a lot of like, people watched it that hadn't watched my videos, and then they come and watch my video, and I'm like, oh, you know, and it's like, No, that's not for me. Yeah, and like now after last week, it was my most popular video of the season, and I feel like the FPL gods have given me this second chance. Once again, I've come in as myself, and a little bit scripted. I did get a bit performancey at the end. I'm not going to lie. I do script things. I like it. I like being able to tell a coherent story in the course of the 15 minutes. That's fun to me, But it was very real, it was a one draft script that I just vented, I don't think I swore in any of my videos, and then I'm, fucking Aston Villa this and fucking Villa that, and and it was how I felt, and I felt better at the end of it. And like a lot of people have watched it that maybe didn't watch my content, or like, is it Shagair that comes into your comments? He watched it and said, I watched your videos a while back and thought, fuck me, what's he on about? But I watched this one and I thought it was good. And it's like, okay, so people are once again telling me to be real and to just be myself on the videos. So I'm going to give it a go. And my video that'll come out either tomorrow or Friday is in this kind of more conversational style. And we'll just see what happens. Well, I did appreciate the feedback. Like what Trigger said was actually quite helpful when he said, his mate said he could watch it for about a minute and then that was too much. And it's like, that's the thing about that kind of wrestling promo style. A lot of them are for about a minute, 90 seconds, and doing it over 15, 20 minutes. It's too much for people. It's too much for me trying to edit it all for that length of time. And it's just, I was looking forward to the end of the season, but now with this new switch up, I'm a bit disappointed that the season's ending because I'm looking forward to it, to seeing how I can do in this style. And I've got a new camera to join in the walking video crew, no, but on a serious note, spending all this time on my computer, I've put on 2 or 3 stone over the season because I'm just always sat down. I'm not eating properly because I need to edit to get it done in the time. So I'm just having biscuits to the sugar rush, and it's not healthy for me. Whereas if I join the walking video crew, I live in the Lake District and it's beautiful around here, and I spend my entire time in my front living room of my terraced house, and I miss it all. And I'd quite enjoy losing a bit of weight. I want to look as handsome and as buff as Steve-O. Maybe that's why I'm not getting the views.
It's not as impressive in real life. The camera has 20 pound of muscle. I'd say.
Yeah, but look at him with his sleeveless top and them ripped triceps, and here's me in my XXL Primark hoodie, green, because I can finally wear green because I don't have to use a green screen anymore, and I like that. But so. Yeah, I've got on a bit of a tangent here. I actually wasn't asked about talking about my video because I felt it was a bit self-indulgent, but you've sprung it on me, and now I'm rambling.
Well, I sprung it on you, not the other way around.
No.
What do you think of the argument? Me and Steve-O had a discussion on the walking videos, whether it should be on the scenery or on the person talking and walking. What would you prefer? Scenery or a bit of both?
I would say this is going to sound like I'm old, sitting on the fence splinter ass here, but I think a bit of both. Show yourself walking, you did your driving one. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed seeing the drive, and then turn it round when you get out of the car and, good drive now. I can actually look at you instead of, you can't look at them when you're driving legally, and show a bit of yourself, and then show a bit of the Steve-O does it, doesn't he? He'll, oh, look at this lovely tree in the distance, let's have a look at that. Oh, there's a sheep over there, hello sheepy.
What was that animal in the field that you had in Dartmoor a few months?
Was it a goat?
Find out what sort of animal it was?
I don't even think it was an animal. I think it was just part of a fence.
But mix it up, do a bit of both. But what I would say, Trigger, is if my face was as handsome as yours, I'd be having it on camera all the time.
Well, this is why I don't have it on mine, because it's like you said about confidence before. It's like I think, I don't want my face on there. No one wants to see that.
You're a gorgeous man, Trigger.
The first time I went on a YouTube channel was when I was interviewed by Joe from Scout on Meet the Manager. And I was terrified because I'd never done, I had to have about 5 pints before I went on it. And I was slurring and it was just awful. And so I can get with what you're saying about the confidence side of it. And you like put on another persona because, and that's what I used to do as well. And, but once you've been doing them for a while, you just forget people are watching, don't you? It's just like us four in the living room and you forget that other people can even see it. So you don't really care. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm a lot more confident than I used to be.
So I'm going to ask one more question because we're getting on for 2 hours now. Paul Hustler says, just quickly poll you guys. What's this question gone? Does anyone see a world where FPL charge people money to play the game and make the prizes better at all? I'd say, Paul Hustler, that already exists. It's like the Telegraph and...
Well, they did. They did with this game. They did it 5 years ago with Ultimate FPL. They did it.
Did you have to pay for that?
Yeah. You had to pay for it. I think it was it a £5 or a £10? I can't remember the price. But yeah, you had to pay for it.
I thought that was a very good game, and they got rid of it. I really enjoyed that game.
Because what was it? You could pick 25 players, something like that.
Yeah, you had more players on your bench, didn't you?
Yeah. And I think they did the game for a year, and they just got rid of it. A bit like this FPL Challenge. I think FPL Challenge is the biggest joke on the planet. I don't even think anybody plays it, to be honest with you. And,
was Ultimate a bit like the Champions League game? Could you bring players off your bench and swap out players?
I can't comment. I cannot remember. I do remember. I just remember me and Jason were looking into doing it, but we thought that we just didn't do it, to be honest with you. I think we said at the time that we'll do it the following season, but at that point they just got rid of it. So
I don't think they'll ever charge. I think what they'll do is partner up with a load of gambling companies and bring that side of it into it more and hook people up with gambling more to make their money that way, I think.
But it depends what Mark... I don't know. I don't have a clue. Nobody knows what Mark's role is going to be in the game itself next year, but it's going to be really interesting to see the future of FPL with Mark involved. I think that the biggest one will certainly be the pricing of players. That is something I know he's very passionate about. But the problem is that, as Andrew said, you have to accommodate for casual players. Casual players want to just be able to look at their team and go, can I bring in Kevin De Bruyne? Yeah, do it. And they can do because they're so cheap. And I think the fact that Trent Alexander-Arnold's gone now, the most expensive FPL defender next year will probably be Vardiol off the top of my head. He'll be 6.5. Or someone like Gabriel, he'll be 6.5. So already we're saving 0.5 to add to our squad. That 0.5 could be put somewhere else. So yeah, I think, because I was thinking about Haaland next season, he's going to be probably 14.5 next year. Then knock off 0.5. Salah will be, what was he this year? 13 he started, or 13.5. He'll go up by 0.5. Palmer will probably stay the same. Saka will definitely be going up in price, probably. And
Saka?
Yeah.
I don't think he'll go up in price. I don't think he'll go up.
Oh, I think he will. The consistency. I mean, what did he start this season? 10.5, wasn't it?
Yeah, but he's not had like a Salah season. I don't think he might go up 0.5. I don't think he'll go up.
At the start of the season, he was, if you remember, he was scoring left, right, and centre.
Bringing our cats onto the show now.
He's
cat's ass in your face.
Come on, Puss, where are you?
Hello, it's TriggerLips.
Oh no, it's a nice wee cat. Come on, Puss.
Hello.
Puss. Hang on, mine's coming to say hello. Come on, Puss.
Lads, I'm gonna wrap things up now. I just want to plug a couple of things.
Thank God, I've been wanting to go for the last hour.
I know. Still, I'm gonna ask you to give you a chance to plug your own channels in a sec. I'm gonna say I'm on with FPL D Unit for a deadline stream on his channel. He's a great lad, Aussie lad, great laugh. I'm on with him on his deadline stream on Saturday. I'll be doing my game reaction stream on Saturday. Smooth and professional, lads. My game reaction on Saturday night. And lads, a question to you.
Oh, lovely.
Lads, next week, the unit is going to be joining me for the preview. You three are all welcome. I don't know when it's going to be yet, but the unit will be our star guest. And you watch the interview with him. It's not going to come out for a couple of weeks, Andrew, but you're a big fan of D units, aren't you?
I absolutely love D Unit. His energy is fantastic. He's so positive. You can tell he just loves every aspect of the game and beating his mates. And he's just having the season of his life, and he's just being more attacking and aggressive. And he's untarnished by all the social media shite. He's untarnished by the misery. And I don't know if it's living in Australia, but it's like he goes out, has a barbecue, walks in, talks shit about FPL for half an hour, then, goes and grabs a beer and carries on living the most fun life, it seems. I'm just popping in off the snowboarding slopes to talk about Nathan Collins. And it's like, God, lad. I love him. Like, in his interview, I watched it last night on a special sneak preview. And it's absolutely fantastic. I would say it's second only to Steve-O and TriggerLips' interviews.
And yours. Do you remember what he said? Because I told Steve about this at the weekend.
He said people use his business card to take cocaine.
He did say that. Well, no, he didn't say that. He mimicked it. But did he say he used to turn up to his deadline streams half cut on vodka? I
think so. I
think I haven't.
You turn up to every stream half cut.
No, I turn up to every stream. I turn up to everything sober. I get pissed during it.
No, people need to check out D Unit. Like, he's 4,000, 5,000 in the world. He's been saying for weeks he's saving his free hit to attack game week 38. And honest to God, if you watch him, you'll love him. He's just so much fun, and he deserves exposure, because he's not only a great content creator, but he's smashing it in the ranks, and that's what we all know is the most important thing.
Andrew,
shame you couldn't get Bateman on.
Yeah, we're not gonna talk about that one. We're not gonna talk about that one, Nick. The amount of stick that I got for putting that tweet out. Andrew, anything you want to say before we finish?
I would just like to say hi, Mum. No, I'm only joking. Now, go over to my channel, FPL Nightmare, and tell me how much better my new style is to my old one. And make sure to like and subscribe to my socials. Hello, Triggers Cat. And follow Steve-O, follow TriggerLips, follow Gary, follow D Unit, follow everybody, because everybody in the community is wonderful.
And the subscribe button doesn't cost you anything. Steve-O,
it doesn't, but if you want special early access to D Unit's sensational interview, you can get it for just 99 pence.
Steve-O, anything you want to say before we finish, mate?
Support your independent content creators.
Well said, my man. Nick?
Great show as always. And not much. I'm looking forward to watching Andrew's walking video.
You'll have to wait till next season.
I love walking videos.
I might only get one in, and then it'll start raining for 6 months. So, we'll have to see what happens.
My other half was watching your one in the graveyard last night. I told her I was on with you two, and she was watching that one for canal boats and everything else.
Well,
it's quite interesting.
I was really disappointed that for whatever reason my camera was just really blurry. I have no idea why. Because I
didn't notice.
I think
you could really notice.
I think you maybe need to just adjust your recording settings. If you're recording it on selfie mode, you maybe had the recording settings to medium rather than high or something.
Okay.
So because it was saying the maximum was 480 480p was the maximum quality, which is fine when you're watching on your phone. But I was watching on my telly, and I'm like, ooh, he's put a Gaussian blur over his camera. But no, I mean, it was fine. It worked all right. But yeah, just check your settings, and it's worth going for the highest quality for a video, I would say.
You could really see the beauty, couldn't you, Steve-O, in the first one we did, 2 or 3 months ago, but you just didn't get the same feeling from the visuals this time. Like,
yeah, that was just extremely, like, really frustrating because I get really OCD about things like that, and especially when people like TriggerLips repost, because TriggerLips has got a very big name within the community, and then if people come along and see that, well, hold on a minute here, the quality is just terrible, why do I want to continue watching this? It's just looks bad on me, basically, and yeah.
It wasn't terrible, though.
It was all right. Okay. On that, go on, Trig.
Are you not going to let Trigger do his own shout out for his channel?
I think that show you done with the graveyard reminds me of that fishing show on TV with
Mortimer and Paul Whitehouse.
Yeah, it reminds me of that. It's just so relaxing to just sit there and
Bob
you
Mortimer
two
and Paul
wandering along.
Whitehouse have a fishing show.
It's been going on for years. Yeah.
Really?
It's
I
just
don't
like
really
your show. They just sit there and waffle on, and it's so enjoyable.
Bit like what I do.
You two do. Exactly.
I
think there's a place for it.
I've got one thing to say to Nick. Nick, when you're coming on next time, it's FPL have a beer, not let's have a beer. I've started referring, but when I did one of my outros the other day, thanks for watching Let's Have a Beer.
I always forget your name. I just say Gary. But,
Okay, well, thank you everyone so much for watching. Thank you so much, Nick, Steve-O, and Andrew especially for gracing us with his presence. Do join me on Saturday on D Unit's channel for the deadline stream. Please join me on Saturday night, probably at 9 o'clock for a reaction. Please do subscribe, and I will see you